This is off the record.
We need to go over to the room.
I don't even know that autograph is better than Tom Brady.
How would you know?
Yeah.
You never will.
Thank you.
Yeah, you never will.
David.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. I guess we'll be asking you this all week, depending on your answer, but what will Dak do this week? Do you have a better idea now? What will he be conditioning most of the week, maybe throw late in the week? How is that set up?
Well, I mean, he's been conditioning, so he's been able to do that, I think, after the first week. So he'll just continue on the path, with the cardiovascular. But, now that he has the stitches out, I mean, the next step is to get the swelling totally out of the joint and the thumb area, and then, to start to build the strength, so he can grip the football. That's the next step.
So really no timetable at this point until the swelling goes down to where you can kind of start the clock on throwing and all of that.
Do I look like the timetable guy? So.
You like the orthopedic surgeon?
Clarence Hill Forward, Star Telegram. Tyler was telling us today about how Peters is molding him. He talks to him. You guys know that he was such a teacher and molder of young offensive linemen when y'all was
I think it's an excellent point. I think you really never truly know until you get the personality of the individual here, and he has such an even keeled demeanor about him, Jason. So I think he's a really good fit, for Tyler. And definitely that was part of the initial conversation, just to, not all, obviously come and, be a part of our football team, but, the ability to take a young guy, and not just Tyler either. So, he has seen it all, he's done it all, and I think it's awesome that he's sharing those experiences.
How much more does he get this week?
We'll see. I mean, we won't get a whole lot of work today. Obviously we're in a walkthrough here this afternoon, and then we'll do a shell period. So we'll just do like we did last week. I'll get to Friday, see how he's doing, see where he's at, see where his conditioning's at, watch him work, and then we'll set a plan from there.
When he came out of the game, okay?
Yeah, he came out clean, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. Can you talk about the change in schedule, getting back late on Monday, and how you work all those things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's I think the biggest thing you learn, throughout your career, because I wouldn't have did this 10 years ago, but I think you understand the travel stress on everybody, especially the players. I mean, today's schedule is most importantly about the players, but to give them the opportunity to get their bodies back, but also try to keep the coaches on a pretty consistent schedule and path, going into the game. So we spent early we took some time in the early part of last week, let the players, work away from us on Monday. They're off Tuesday, and part of that design was so we can complete the Giant prep, and we're able to get onto the Washington prep at the end of last week. So we travel a lot. Our 3 division games are on the East Coast, so we usually have a headwind coming back, so all those things factor, and it's we talk to these guys all the time about hydration, nutrition, and sleep, and I mean I'd be a total hypocrite to come get back at 4:30 in the morning and think we're going to line up and go get it today. So I think it's just being smart and trusting the numbers, because at the end of the day that's what it comes down to, and we have good information, and I think the players do a good job giving us feedback, so all that goes into it.
Mike Jory, Epstein with Yahoo Sports. You've talked about Michael Gallup, wanting to see a little more from him. He talked in locker room today about needing to feel a little more comfortable. How will the short week impact that? And does that hurt his
I mean, it won't be just as much of what we do on the field. Obviously the guys that did not play Monday night, they'll be able to get some work. You'll see us really get through the first, normal D&D today and third down, particularly, about half of our third down packages. But, tomorrow will be about an hour and 30-minute practice. But the guys that need the individual work, there'll be some pre and post practice go on tomorrow. So that's where we'll fill the void.
Scott.
Scott Dixon with DAP. When you're on a little bit of a roll and you've got an opponent that's been struggling, how do you fight the human nature to maybe let up a little bit or lose any urgency?
Well, I think the first part is we're not on a roll yet. We're just getting started, so I'm not concerned about that. Those are good challenges to have in front of you. But I think the most important part that we have to focus on for ourselves is, there's things that we can be better. We talked about it today. There's always a self-scout component of the Wednesday meetings, because, Monday's usually for correction. Obviously, we're coming off of a Monday night game. So we just got to focus on being better at we can. I thought we played complimentary football Monday night, and that was really the second time much better Monday than even in the prior week in Cincinnati. And then, it's just like anything. You got to watch the tape. I saw the score of the game just like everybody else, 24-0. But when I watched the games, on the coach's copy, I didn't see it that way. I didn't think the game was clearly, and that's how it goes sometimes. But this is a quality football team. This is another division game. So, this will be a tough contest, and that's how we're preparing for it.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How do you draw that balance between when a guy's hurt, when the trainers say, we think he's good, and the player's like, I'm just not ready yet? How do you manage everybody, get on the same page?
Well, to me, it's a continuous conversation. So, and I think the biggest thing is, we have a really good medical staff. They communicate very well with the players. I think the fact that the players stay here and use our medical staff and our doctors tells you, the faith and trust that they have in them. I think return to play, Britt Brown he does an excellent job there. And it's, until it all aligns, to put someone out on the field that's not totally ready yet, that's to go that far and make that decision, that's, that never, I haven't been part of that. So at the end of the day, everything has to line up, and, and the player knows his body best. So, but that's really, it's just not, a scheduled conversation to say, hey, you're at 6 weeks, now it's time to play. That's not how it works.
Really?
Newy Scruggs, NBC5, Dallas. You talked earlier at training camp about how young players are going to need to be a part of the early season here. Can you speak to what Lunda Wells has done with those two rookie tight ends, and then Joe Philbin getting Tyler Smith ready to get out there left tackle, then Matt Barniak coming in here, and now they're 3 games in? Yeah,
I think Joe Philbin and Lunda Wells both, deserve recognition for the job they've done so far with their young players. This is what draft and develop looks like. Ideally, in the perfect world, you like to see your young players play probably week 5, 6, or later. We've been in a position where our guys had to play now. So the fact that they're ready, I think, really goes back to when this rookie class arrived in April and May, and the work that was put in there. And this is what you hope for. When a player gets an opportunity, that he steps up and delivered. And I think these young guys have done that. And you can see it; they're getting better each and every week. Obviously have more confidence, and just like any new perimeter player, you have to get the connection with the quarterbacks. And and obviously Cooper, doesn't have as many reps with those guys as probably Dak had going through camp. So yeah, I think Joe and Lunda have done an excellent job, and I think it's just like anything. It doesn't show up in the box score, but when you see those guys up there at night, Joe and Lunda and even Jeff, also they have their early morning meetings, and then these guys are up there late at night. We're not under union regulations, so we can work more than 11 hours. That's nice, just saying. But so I think that all factors, and I think it's a big part of us, being able to get through this early part of our season.
John Michaud, The Athletic. Going in that Bengals game 2 weeks ago, you probably had some type of expectation for Cooper Rush. Now that you've seen him in 2 starts, what would you say, just you personally, have been impressed with most by him?
I feel like I said is I got to find some more consistency. The game mentally comes easy to Cooper. I think he's got experience. He's been around for quite some time. He's been in and out of a couple systems, so that's very helpful. Has total command of the language. That's important. Knows the ins and outs. Knows his teammates very well. That's a huge part of being a successful number 2 quarterback, because you don't get those reps that the number 1 gets, particularly through training camp and with the schedule that we're on. So. I just think he's really dialed in. He has a very, very strong connection with both Doug and Kellen. That's obviously a benefit. But he's this is year 3 of the offense, and and I think he's put together 2 games. And hey, we're going to be tested by this front this Sunday, and this will be a big challenge for all of us.
Coach, Rob Phillips, DallasCowboys.com. Kind of Todd's question about the short week. How does typically having a division opponent help with the time crunch in terms of preparation? Is that offset at all by kind of the scouting stretch that you're in?
I think it helps more the second time. I think when you have these division games early in September, I think it heightens the challenge. That's been my personal experience. The fact that we're going to have three division games in 4 weeks. That's something. That's one of those when the schedule comes out that you point to and circle and make sure that your forecast. When the schedule comes out, we forecast the whole season of how we want to attack it and have options and different schedules and so forth. We tweaked the schedule, for tomorrow, but just to get more meeting time because we're going to be less time on the field. So, but it does have some carryover from last year. The players that you did compete against. We have profile tapes on all those guys, so that does help a little bit. But I think when you play anybody in September, there's the unscouted look challenge, but also playing these division games early are a bit of a challenge because it's everybody's upgraded and tried to improve their 90-man roster, and I think our division foes have done a nice job of that.
Hey, Coach. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. And speaking with DQ, it sounds like you guys are taking a wait-and-see approach this week with Jaron Kearse. He's been down the past couple of games. What are his odds for possibly taking the field against Washington?
Don't have odds for you, but he's going to work today. The goal is to give him a full complement tomorrow, but we'll see how he comes out of the rehab part of it today. But he wants to go. I mean, I do know that. So, but he's doing well. But we'll just really tomorrow will be a big practice because that'll be the heaviest workload that we have of the week.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. Following up on John's question about Cooper, we all know his personality is what it is, but have you noticed that his confidence, there's believing you can do it. When you go several years, you don't get a chance. Have you noticed his confidence in himself quietly kind of inching up as he demonstrates that he can do what he thought he could do?
I thought, I can't recall exactly what play was, but there was a point in the second half of the Minnesota game. I thought his confidence just, he made a couple plays, got going, and then obviously when we went down to score to win the game, he was a different player when he got on the plane that night. So, and that's usually how it goes. He is very, very, obviously we talk about his intelligence, but he's very, very high in instinct and awareness. So, he anticipates things very well. He has the ability to, throw early, get the ball out and anticipate. So, I just think you're seeing him have more and more confidence with every opportunity he has. He's just playing to his strengths.
Sure.
How similar or different do you think Carson Wentz's current usage is versus when y'all played him against the Eagles?
Well, they are different. They are different offenses, but Scott Turner does use a lot of shifts and motions. He's a scheme challenge coordinator, is the way I view him. So yeah. I think there's. I would put him, somewhere in between his experience in Philadelphia and Indianapolis as far as how they use him, and I think it's just. I think that's part of that's normal. You watch a player and their past experience and try to acclimate concepts that they have experience in. Because I think like anything, when a quarterback has so many reps, the footwork and timing, the recognition, the anticipation, all the things that go into just one pass concept, you want to carry that forward the best you can. I just know in developing of the quarterbacks that I had, going back, I can remember in 2008 with Aaron Rodgers. As we went through the spring, getting ready for the season, we identified 7 concepts that he just knew on the back of his hand. And I think when players have difficulty, it's the old Marty Schottenheimer used to say all the time, think of players, not plays. And I think, and that's something I've always held on to, and particularly when going back to the, if you have a young quarterback that has 7 concepts that he knows and feels greatly about. So when you get in times where things aren't going very good or it's not very clean, you go back to the foundation. And obviously as they go, they build and build and build, and then those number of concepts they grow, and that's that's all part of the development of those guys. So I think that's kind of the way I've always looked at it, whether it's an opponent or if it's a quarterback that we're developing in house.
What does it say about that quarterback class with Wentz, Goff, and Dak, that it's been all over the place? First round guys and bounce around, and obviously Dak is where he is.
I tell you, it's. I think it's an excellent example of the journey of the NFL quarterback. You look at high-pick quarterbacks that, if they can stay with one team and one system, I think there's so much value in a quarterback staying in a system or a language for his whole career. That was really a big part of the decision to keep the language and the system in place because of Dak here. He had over 4 years of experience in that system. I don't know what the hell I was thinking about when I did it, but that's why I did it. But I only had 30 years in the same system, but who am I? I don't throw the ball. But I think that's important. But, and that's why I always admired Alex Smith, because I had Alex in his rookie year, and he had 5 coordinators his first 5 years, and just to watch him continue to progress and have success. I always had, so much admiration for him to go through that, because that's very, very difficult, very difficult. So if you can, that's part of the, guys being to overcome the different thresholds in this league. And I just think all 3 of those guys have had different paths, different circumstances, and it affects all of them. Usually, history will tell you that.
What do you talk to Tolbert about this week? I don't know if you felt he should have caught that ball down the field, but he doesn't get the same opportunity as CD to make up for things. And how do you keep him confident and ready to go, especially after not being active the first 2 weeks?
Well, I think number one, the ball. Number two, number one, if Cooper was standing there, he would have told you he threw the ball too flat. So I don't look at that as him missing the ball. I think it's, to be honest with you, that's 2 guys that haven't played a lot of football together. That was their first live snap at a vertical ball. So I really liked the route that he ran. I love the way he pressed the leverage, and could have probably stepped on his toes a little more. But for a young guy getting in his first game, I thought Jalen did some really good things. So he just needs to continue to work. And just like any receiver that's fighting to get up on the 48, special teams is a big part of it. So I'm more focused on him improving in the area of special teams, because he'll improve just with opportunities at the receiver position, in my opinion.
Fioco's okay?
Say again?
Fioco's okay. I know he had a shoulder thing.
Yeah, he's going to play today, or practice today in the morning.
That it?
I don't know why I'm on a time thing today with the 2 questions I'm asking you, but this is
What's that mean?
Well, I asked you about the schedule of the week, and then.
Oh, I thought you had your clock out, like you're timing me or something. Yeah.
4 different kickoff times in 4 weeks. Does a noon kickoff represent any different kind of challenge?
Hell yeah, everybody loves noon kickoff. Get up and get going, right? Is that a good enough answer? You want some more? Good? All right, thank you.